People who think studying dress is a frivolous topic like to think of it as something superficial. But actually, studying dress relates to the study of human behavior, because all people are dressed, whether they have garments on or whether they're dressed with tattoos, or, I mean, you're dressed when you comb your hair, you're dressed when you're dressing your body. What do you think, Phyllis?
I agree. I think precisely that, and the advantage of the encyclopedia is that it looks at every aspect of dress, ranging from the social context to the highly individual.
Well, you can learn about technology of a society. You can learn about differences among people as well as similarities. You learn something about economics. I mean, you learn a great deal about society in general or specific ones.
You also learn a good deal about history, in that the way in which people dress at different time periods, even relatively short time periods, it can give you insight into that particular time period. For example, there was a time when only men wore trousers, women did not. And it really said something about the social roles of those individuals. And then, of course, we've got an enormous industry, the fashion industry, which has developed around the idea of fashion. Fashion is not imposed by an industry, but fashion is a basic, I would say almost primal, impulse to adopt something that connects you with other people in your milieu. Well, dress is what you, I don't want to be so simplistic as say what you wear, but in effect, I think that's how most people view it. Whereas fashion's characteristic is that it's a taste shared by many people for a short period of time, and it changes. And that's the key element of fashion, is the change part.
Well, that's a rather complex question, because I think the study of dress is so interdisciplinary that it has been studied by many people at many different points in time. Historians have almost always commented or described how people have dressed. Economists have been interested in industry, in production, consumption. We certainly have people in the fashion industry who've been interested in the study of dress. I think you have to look at it as far as who's studying dress. So that if you're talking about people studying fashion, then you have some people who've studied design, and you have other people who've studied meaning. So if you have anthropologists, they've always been interested in the role of dress in people's behavior. So I'm sure you have some other comments about this.
Well, I would focus on a slightly different area, and that is today there's also the professional aspect of where people want to go in their professional development. And that can be on the undergraduate level, that can be on a postgraduate level, and cover a wide range of career opportunities and career directions, each of which has its own areas of specialization that would be included in the study of dress.
I think one of the most interesting parts of this particular 10-volume project is the fact that it's organized geographically, so that the range of the way people dress around the world is covered, and it doesn't just have a Western bias. Because if you look at most of the histories of costume, and my colleague here, Phyllis, has written one of them, generally, because they've been the ones we're most familiar with, written in English, have covered the Western world. And yet, when we look at the history of the world, and we look at Egypt, we look at China, we look at India, and we're looking at civilizations that reach back many thousands of years, the advantage of the encyclopedia is the fact that we are looking at all regions of the world. And so we're covering a much broader range than is covered in most of the other kinds of works that deal with the history of dress.
I think that the encyclopedia is unique, and we have Joanne to thank for that, because her focus, for as long as I have known her, has always been worldwide. And I think the idea of bringing together in one collection of volumes works about dress in all parts of the world is going to present to the readers of the encyclopedia a far broader view of dress than can be found anywhere else. And I say that without hesitation.
There were some earlier works. There was a man named Rassenay. There were some other kinds of works, and these were usually just depictions. And they were descriptions of what people were wearing, but not really with any analysis or any comparative material. And I think since ours is being published in 2010, then we have the advantage of having people who are writing from many different disciplines, because the encyclopedia covers the disciplines of people writing from history, from costume history, from anthropology, from design, and some others that I'm not remembering right now, but it really is very wide-ranging.
Well, and I think also that each volume tries to be sure to be comprehensive in the sense of giving some indications of the role of dress for the individual, the role of dress in religion, the role of dress in all of the activities of life.